leave clay to trim. You are probably gonna trim a little bit, like on the edge, just to keep that bottom nice and round. Trim maybe just mostly compression on the bottom, just to reinforce the spiral that you created. But in general, low and wide. When I wanna center something low and wide, I hold my hand like this so that that L that I always talk about is extended through my thumb. So it gives me a nice length. And because it's really hard to center something super low, remember the hardest part of the clay to center is the part that's closest to the back, and something that's low and wide is really hard to center. So I do a lot of compression downward. The outer fingers of my hand hold that edge, hold the corner here as well. So I'm holding the corner here and here. And I lean down into it. My thumb is what's starting to make this impression. And so I'm starting to create the spiral that's needed for the compression. So I'm gonna go out and in towards the center here as I center it. I actually push the side of my thumb down to start making that well and pull it out for the edge. Basically what I'm doing is if there is any part of it that's uncentered, I'm gonna be able to pull that out to the rim of the pot and trim it off, you know? As long as the clay that's left behind is fine. If you do wanna put a foot on your cloche, that's absolutely fine. But it can't be one of those Liz Lore feet that's like angular and like sharp. It cannot be one of those. It has to be like a nice meaty round foot that is not too high. I definitely think it's better to not have a foot on it at all. But if you did really, really want a foot, you could. So this is my thumb. Just literally I'm pulling it out. There's a lot of water needed. And this in and out is extremely important for the compression. So sometimes when we throw our big pots and I'm like, oh, it's a 15-second step to go in it to compress the bottom, not in something that's low and wide. It is in fact what I spend the most time on. And then this is really how you're resisting S-cracks. Take a measurement, see where I am, see how much bigger I want to get. I'm just short of 9. I think I'm gonna go to 10. I'll make a little loaf. All right, so right now my base is about 1/2 inch thick. So I have some space to make it slightly larger. But I'm at 9.5 now, that should be fine. So this is the interior, and the curve of the outside will give me my last 1/2 inch to the rim. So I'm gonna go back and forth, and I'm gonna take my long rib, my long straight rib, and I'm gonna hold it with the corner as the exterior, or I mean, actually I should probably do it like this because I'm going into a narrower area, where I line up the center, the edge of the rib with the center of this, hold it from above, my hands are together for strength, my elbows are locked, and I never go straight down perpendicular to the clay. I always start parallel and then slowly turn it towards me, because that'll give me the best soft suggestion for the clay. It doesn't really want to be handled too much. So, and I just push down till my base is flush. Till the rib is flush with the base. See that? So it doesn't have any like spaces between it. It's nice and flat. Now my finger, I'm just gonna rehydrate it again. My finger is gonna hold here on the pot, because what I'm gonna, on the base, because what I'm gonna do next is I'm gonna tuck my right finger underneath to pick up the wall and start throwing the height. So I come all the way out to here. I hate that when I'm right on the bat pins, it always moves me. But I'm gonna tuck underneath, and I'm holding the interior of the floor, the base, the furthest out where the floor is going to start to become wall. And then I reach underneath, so I'm pushing slightly down with my interior finger and tucking underneath with my exterior finger, so that they are now meeting. You see that? Now I'm on either side. Just like, and there's no difference in the thickness between this wall and this wall. So anything I do is thinning it, but now it's the exact same thickness as my base. I'm gonna do a little more compression on my bottom because I pressed a little too hard, but just gonna push that into the wall out there. I like to use the harder ribs for floors because floors do not really want to move. My softer ribs are for walls because they move very easily. So now I'm gonna lift this up.
Do you dry these on the board?
Do I dry them on the bat?
Yeah.
I'll start to. As soon as I can though, I get it off so that it dries a little bit more evenly.
So are these meant for like a plate or something? I mean, do those dry?
Masonite
easier?
bats dry more easily. They dry faster because the moisture is able to migrate through the bottom. So if you're gonna make something really low and wide, use the Masonite bats. Those are thicker Masonite bats. I have a set that are very, very thin, and I prefer those for like fast, thin plates that don't get a ton of trimming, just because the whole process goes faster. If you do like the solidity of the Plastibat, these black ones, feel free to use it, but you do have to mother your pot off the bat. There's a lot of cutting. Usually with the Masonite bat, it's just cutting and then you can pop it off pretty quickly. There's no more, it's not drying on the bottom on a plastic bat. There's no place for the moisture to go, so it just stays inside the pot. What tends to happen is that your rim will dry faster than the center, and that's what forms cracks in rims. The rim will split.
What about making a little hole in the center, like